So if you're seeing this video, you may have heard of the Temple of Zeus at Olympia, an ancient wonder of the world, but you probably haven't heard of the Pergamon altar of Zeus. And that's a damn shame, so let's talk about it. But first, I'd like to give a quick thank you to @RVKTS for suggesting the topic for today's video. So, the Pergamon altar was a monumental construction built by the ancient Greek king Eumenes II of the Kingdom of Pergamon, sometimes referred to as the Pergamon Empire, in the ancient city of Pergamon in modern Turkey. In my last video, I explained why so many ancient Greek cities are located outside of Greece. So if you're interested, you can check out that last video and come back to this one. The Pergamon altar was itself not a temple. Rather, it was the altar of a temple, likely the nearby Doric temple of Athena, located on the Acropolis just above it. Now, almost all ancient Greek temples were built with their own accompanying altars, most being located just outside of the temple itself, which were used to make offerings for the gods, perform daily rituals, and conduct animal sacrifices. What makes the Pergamon altar so special is its sheer scale and breathtaking artistry, being 117 feet and 3 inches wide and 109 feet and 7 inches deep, with the front stairway alone being almost 66 feet wide. For reference, the entire building was roughly half the size of the Parthenon in Athens, which, although smaller, is absolutely massive for a temple altar. Additionally, the base of the building was decorated in a high-relief frieze that was 370 feet long. This frieze depicted a gigantomachy, which is the depiction of the mythological battle fought between the Olympian gods and the giants for control over the cosmos, an incredibly important event in Greek mythology that was commonly portrayed in ancient Greek art. Now, there was also a second, smaller high-relief frieze on the inner court walls surrounding the altar at the top of the stairs on the upper level of the structure. Now, this second frieze depicted the life of Telephus, the legendary founder of the city of Pergamon, who was the son of Heracles and Auge, one of the kings of Teague, which is an ancient Greek city in Arcadia, Greece, King Elias's daughters. Built between 180 and 159 BCE, the earliest versions of the altar were leveled with several terraces, each being laid out to enhance the utility of the altar with the Acropolis above. The frieze on the eastern side, featuring the gigantomachy with prominent gods like Zeus, Athena, and Ares, was designed to be seen by visitors before they even reached the temple, with the extended part of the altar being right on the side of the main road leading up to the temple above. At the end of that main road and directly behind the altar stood the Doric temple of Athena, likely containing many statues that would have been erected 150 years before the construction of the altar itself. The altar was built in a near square shape with a wall enclosing the actual sacrificial altar on the 3 sides, with the open side of the altar being accessed via a stairway. It also included 5 sets of stairs surrounding the entire building, with the core foundation being composed of intersecting tough walls arranged in a grading pattern designed to increase stability in the event of an earthquake. Now, this freely accessible arrangement was designed so that visitors could walk around it in its entirety, which led to further lines being added later on. Now, like most Greek altars, the Pergamon altar was oriented to the east, so that those bearing sacrifices would enter from the west in alignment with the rising sun. However, the Pergamon altar pushes this tradition to its extremes, with its aforementioned monumental size being a true testament to the masterwork of Greek architecture, with it even being included as one of the ancient wonders of the world by several contemporary sources, although not included by our current listings. Now, it was initially unearthed in 1871, but the site wasn't officially excavated until 1878 by the German engineer Carl Humann, where the excavation process would continue until 1886. Following an agreement with the Ottoman Empire, which the site was located within at the time, Humann transported the remains back to Berlin, where they were slowly reassembled and eventually opened to the public as the Pergamon Museum in 1930, which, excluding a brief intermission in World War II, is where they have remained to this day. As always, the cultural legacy of this magnificent building remains long-lasting, with it influencing the designs of countless buildings and works of art throughout the world, including its contemporary buildings like the Stoa of Adelos and the Areopagus, as well as sculptures like those on numerous Roman sarcophagi and those of Bernini in the 17th century.